Hello, everyone. I'd like to call this evening's Kings Local Schools Board of Education public meeting to order. Mr. Morrow, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Phillips,
Here.
Ms. Groff,
Here.
Ms. Cowan,
Here.
Mr. Skrull. Here. Mr. Belfron.
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull. Yes. Mr. Belfron.
Yes. Next on the agenda is executive session. We'll be entering into executive session for the following reasons, purposes this evening: to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, preparing for conducting or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with employees. May I have a motion to enter into executive session this evening?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Morrow?
Mr. Skrull. Yes. Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Belfron.
Yes, we'll return shortly. We are now returning back from executive session. Thank you all for your patience. Next on the agenda, we have our reports and presentations. Mr. Sears. Where's he? Miss School. Oh, I can, yeah, raise. So first is our raised presentation. Always look forward to this.
Okay.
Our outstanding artists. Miss Hoffer and Miss Guilfoyle had their drawing students create 60 portraits for orphans in India through the Memory Project. They were delivered to the children 2 weeks ago. KHS architecture students are working with Mr. Lice and Mr. Lucky on design proposals to help utilize unused spaces in the high school. These renovations would be very minimal with the goal of adding more classroom and office spaces needed for the growth we are experiencing. Staff painting event. Mrs. Cook and NAHS led a staff painting event in Mrs. Cook's room. KHS and KJH staff were able to attend and make their own paintings. NAHS students led the event and brought baked goods for the participants.
Music. The King's Choir has their end of the year concert on May 4th. This concert has the long awaited senior solos, and they also perform the Old Irish Blessing as a send-off to the graduating class. The Old Irish Blessing will also be performed at the 2023 graduation ceremony.
National Honor Society. Congratulations to Grace Sims, Katie Gibson, and Julia Burke for being a part of this year's Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Student Visionaries of the Year. The Kings Against Cancer team raised nearly $30,000, which is kind of crazy, which contributed to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's grand total of $805,365. Our student leaders were additionally awarded with this year's research award on the behalf of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. National Honor Society hosted an animal canned food drive for Lady Olivia Dog. They collected 1,800 pounds of pet food. And if you imagine that, that's kind of a lot to think about.
Clubs. The French Club had a celebration for their last meeting. Everyone brought a French food for all of them to share, and they played a Kahoot game about French culture. Frau Koenig's fourth bell gets to teach third graders at CAMI some basic German. They provide everything for the class themselves. They want the younger kids to be excited about learning different languages.
Athletics. The baseball team has a record of 9-2. They play West Claremont at home tomorrow. The softball team has a record of 8-2. They have a home game April 21st, also against West Claremont. The men's lacrosse team has a record of 7-2. They play Beaver Creek on the 21st. The lady lacrosse team has a record of 5-5. They play Lebanon on the 27th. The men's tennis team has a record of 3-4. They played against Little Miami last night. The track and field team travels to Anderson this Thursday and Friday to compete, so go out and support the King's students.
Okay, the pneumatic arm project. Mr. Shields' Engineering 1 has been working on a cool pneumatic arm project. The students build everything themselves using 2x4s, plywood, pneumatic pistons, bolts, and screws. They control everything with coding they wrote using Arduinos. And if you want to play that video, it's really cool.
I'm gonna go down. Okay, written down. Yeah, up. Okay, over, bring it back in. Do it. Okay, mouth, wrist, over that. Now wrist down, like slow, bring it back.
Nice. Nice job.
Seal of Biliteracy. The Seal of Biliteracy test will take place this Friday at KEC. This year, we have 50 students testing in 9 different languages, which are French, German, Spanish, English, Italian, Russian, Hebrew, Arabic, and Tamil. 3 students will be testing in multiple languages. Scores will be reported in early May.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Our next presentation will be our quality profile.
Yes, Mr. Belson, thank you very much for the opportunity this evening. Just to talk a little bit about the quality profile that was mailed to our community within the last few weeks. This was put together by staff here at the district to basically enable our community to stay incredibly informed about the work that's happening throughout the district. Throughout a lot of the work that I've been a part of since my arrival here at King's, and I know Mr. Morrow as well since his, and many others, is we've had a lot of discussion on how do we continue to maintain high levels of transparency, communication, and engage many folks in our district that do not have that direct connection by having a student that attends our district. And so we've worked really hard to create opportunities to engage the community in many different ways through whether it's be feedback sessions, whether it's community connections or different evening events in people's houses, et cetera, asking for feedback or various questions. But one of the things that we wanted to do this year is we felt the need to enhance that experience by putting together the quality profile that is often put together by districts, and King's has done this in the past. But we felt the need this year to really mail that home to all of the mailboxes and households within the entire district. So there was a commitment on our part in order to, again, to increase transparency and communication. So that our district and the folks in our district can see a lot of the great things that are happening. A lot of the work that is reported out on an annual basis for success stories around our district is really around the academic test scores or the state report card that a lot of people pay attention to. As part of our work in the Alliance for High Quality Education, this is a group of suburban school districts throughout the state of Ohio with a very similar income, achievement, and academic makeup of like King's. We are a part of the Alliance. In 2009, the Alliance was formed in this avenue to not only just communicate the results of state report cards, but also to use the quality profile as an avenue to highlight all of the great things that are happening and many other highly important things that are happening throughout the district. Our state report card, which now is a star rating system, is a single point in time. It's a single test. In fact, that's happening throughout the district over the next couple of weeks, including this week, that our teachers have done incredible work for preparing our students for, and that the students are engaging into that work right now. But we feel like that doesn't tell the entire story about what is really happening throughout the district. So our work around the quality profile is for that purpose. It's to highlight a lot of the incredible things that are happening because the state report card that we receive doesn't tell the whole story. And so this is important for us to, again, get in the hands of our entire community because we want to create greater connection with those folks that do not have that personal touch with our district because they do not have children or students in our schools. But so we laid this out, and I know this went home, and I'm not going to go through. I hope everybody had a chance to read this. I hope everyone had a chance to engage into it. It's a commitment that highlights not only our current academic achievement way beyond what the state report card does. We did highlight some of our star ratings, but There's academic data that is much more specific, well spelled out, and that we should be extremely proud of, and that's going on. But it also tackles into the future a little bit about where we're going and what are some of the great initiatives we have and how we support our students through teaching and learning, and through different programming, different growth opportunities. We've talked about numerous times the number of the changing demographics in our school district with the students that are coming in, especially with our English language learners, and different supports there. And also highlighting the finances in our district, as well as arts and athletics. We've had a record-breaking school year with through our art programs, through our theater programs, and especially our athletic programs. And so some of those are highlighted as well. And all of that could not be accomplished without the amazing staff we have in our district. So we're really proud of the work. And we're proud of the quality profile, but we think it's really important for our community to be engaged into what's taking place. And hopefully this opened the door to some further communication with folks that are not personally connected. A little bit about the rhythm of this is we believe we're going to be into a rhythm of, we will create this every year. Most years, we will post this on our website as a digital image like Mrs. Gould has, and that she's displaying this evening. And then we would get into a rhythm of every 4, possibly 5 years that we would look to mail this directly home to all of our constituents. We would update it every year. We would make that, we may even connect them through a postcard that reminds them that this happens on an annual basis. But then we would actually publish and mail home the large document on a rhythm basis, not annually. So just wanted to highlight this. There was a lot of time, effort, energy, and work that went into this. But it also is incredible amounts of information that the community should be extremely proud of for what's taking place, the product that we're producing here at King's with our students. So if there's any questions from the board, any comments, I'm happy to take those, but I just wanted to take a little time and not miss an opportunity to celebrate some of the work that's happening. So.
Just a comment. I talked to multiple neighbors who don't have kids in the district, and they were so thankful to get that information, to understand really what's going on in the district on a finance level, on an academic level. It was great information for people that aren't tied to our district. So thank you to everyone who put all of that work in. Especially, I want to say thanks to Dawn. I mean, it's a lot of work. And you saved the district a lot of money by creating that yourself, and you might have a future in graphic design.
After you retire from Kings. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mrs. Groff. I would second Mrs. Groff's sentiments on that. Yep.
I would too.
Very well done.
Simply marvelous.
Yeah. All right, going forward on the agenda for this evening, we have public participation. It looks like we have no community members here to speak this evening. So moving forward, we have I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items for the treasurer for this evening.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow, did you have anything to add before we call the roll, sir?
Only one thing. There was a question from the last meeting about our audit. We did receive the Auditor of State Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting since our last board meeting. And we also received the highest achievement in open and transparent government for the 3rd straight year. The question was, how many entities actually get the highest achievement in open and transparent government? Only 16% in the entire state. So it's pretty good company to be in, and it shows that it's not just given to everybody. So I did want to answer that.
Absolutely. We did have our motions, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, right. Mr. Morrow, could you call the roll?
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull. Yes. Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes. Next on the agenda are our consent approval items for the superintendent. May I have a motion to approve these items?
I'll make that motion.
I will second the motion. Mr. Morrow, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda are the approval items for the assistant superintendent regarding matters of HR and business. May I have a motion to approve the three items we have here on the agenda this evening?
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Morrow?
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes. Next on the agenda are the consent approval items for the assistant superintendent regarding the educational programs. May I have a motion to approve the item listed here on the agenda?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes. Next is items presented by the board. Do we have anything specific to present tonight? I'll just, I always come up with something. I'll just circle back to the consent agenda items from treasurer and what Mr. Morrow just mentioned. I know there's often a lot of concern with regards to the fiduciary responsibility here at King. So I believe the auditor information is in the quality profile, but just to reiterate that we have a long standing standard of excellence here and as to how the finances are maintained. It's a lot of work, not only for Mr. Morrow and his staff here in this building, but the principals, administration, and all of the building's teachers as well. They take the responsibility of handling the money that the community trusts us with to educate our students very seriously. So I just wanted to trumpet that a little more. Mr. Morrow is a modest man, humble man. Any other items for the present by the board? All right, next on the agenda is the legislative update. Mr. Skrull.
Thank you. So there's been nothing presented to Governor DeWine for signature, nor nothing has been signed since we met last. The legislator took a little bit of small break, but they just came back yesterday and now they're getting full into the budget process. So their committee hearings have now resumed as of yesterday. I encourage all of us to keep looking into these items and reach out to our legislators as the Fair School Funding Plan is pushing along, and let's see what we can do to get those base cost updates updated to 2022. I know that's using those older figures it really hurts us as a district. So I do have several items that are posted on here that I've included. So feel free to read through those, and if you have any follow-up questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Skrull. Next on the agenda is the Student Achievement Liaison Update. Mrs. Phillips.
Thank you. First off, we're proud to announce that Kings Mills Elementary received the Purple Star designation from the Ohio Department of Education. The Purple Star School shows a significant commitment to serving students and families connected to the nation's armed forces. So congratulations to KME for receiving that designation. Also, congratulations to Lucy and Audrey, two Kings High School students who earned the Southwest OEA Student Scholarships. A recent Kings alumni, Aiden Crum, was paying it forward by visiting and presenting to the employability class. Aiden is an HVAC technician at Wingate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing Company, and that's a great example and a success story of apprenticeships or internship programs and how they can work successfully. Either at the junior high, where one can see guest readers reading in the classroom, or J.F. Burns having family reading night, every school promotes, models, and shares the love of reading for our students. It takes an entire village. Putters Green in Mainville supported the men's lacrosse team by providing the food, energy, and fuel that they needed prior to a recent game. What does rope jousting have to do with character and leadership? All you need is a curved board, rope, and two opponents. In this case, Coach Olds and class champ Charlie gave it a try. Charlie put on a good fight, but in the end, wisdom trumped youth. You see, rope jousting requires strategy, trial, error, and learning from near mistakes. Charlie was defeated by Coach Olds. The 2023 Area Progress Council's Project Excellent Award goes to high school English teacher Katie Isaac and CIS fifth grade teacher Sarah McDonough. Congratulations to both of those teachers. And that's one of the reasons that we always do such a great job in the classroom, is all of the wonderful teachers and the work that they do each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips. With that, may I have a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
I will make that motion.
I will second the motion, Mrs. Cowan, Mr. Morrow.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes,
Mr. Skirrell,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Everyone have a fantastic evening.